the reason why we do be obsessing over the negative stuff is really just our biology that says we need to really logically comprehend the entire situation for the sake of this not happening again, so that we are well equipped next time when something like this comes, we see the red flags miles away and we can then change. So there is a little bit of our human mind where we do not just go from one desire to another. It would be enough to logically understand what happened here, what did I do, oh, was this actually something that could have been prevented by me taking action or not taking action, or is this something that just like is out of my hands, a tornado or something like that, right? Lose my house, that's it, bye, gone, well now I'm homeless, right? So it would be enough to just understand that and then move on, but we get so super attached to it because it feels so wrong. And that's what I said in the beginning. When we have drawbacks, when we have insecurities, when we feel inadequate in any way, shape or form, we have this feeling of this is horrible because we actually deep down in our intuition understand that this is not how it's supposed to be. We are supposed to live an amazing life. We are supposed to be really excited every single day. We are supposed to really just gain a massive amount of satisfaction from the good, the bad, the ugly, the phenomenal, the fantastic, everything. So when we encounter this and when this feeling comes, it's actually our body, our system, our entire being saying to us, it's not how it meant to be. It's not correct, you're doing something, but this is the aspect of being God consciousness or creative consciousness or source consciousness or Matilda, again, however you call it, doesn't matter. This is like the responsibility that we get. We are so free that we can choose to be not free. We can choose to be in bondage. We are so abundant that we can choose to have an abundance of shit circumstances. And all we need is to softly, gently train ourselves to stop being the prisoner of our humanness and start being the creator of our experience. And it does take some balls to do that. It does take trust in yourself. At the very least, it takes hoping that you will have trust in yourself enough. You don't need to be perfect. You can have doubt and still get your shit done. You just gotta let go. The best thing that you can do for yourself is really become emotionally independent from the stuff, from everything. If regret and beating myself up would make me prettier or richer or younger or more successful, then I would be like, fuck yeah, let's beat each other up. Like, it's just, I'm the worst. But it's not. It's quite frankly making me ugly and miserable, and on the long run, it's gonna make me broke and old, and eventually I will croak in a very horrendous, disgusting way. So why the fuck would I do this? But there's this thing where people just, because experiencing contrast, and it's not just little things. Like, we can be realistic and say that there are things happening on this planet that are completely horrific and horrendous and unspeakable, really. But, thing is, because it is so, if we care, it is so unpleasant, and the contrast is so unpleasant, we feel the need to justify this feeling. And it is very hard for us humans to experience something horrendous and then just letting it go, because we feel like we need to find a reason. We need to understand why this is happening. And when we get slapped with core wounds and whatnot from our parents and upbringing when we are children, when we get messed up, essentially, as children, we internalize everything. So we always think, it's me, it's my fault, I did this wrong. This is a biological mechanism. This is very important in the good way for our development. We need to make everything about us because this is how we grow and learn. This is how our brain literally gets created and develops over time, right? But the problem is we also internalize all the negative stuff. And then we need to find justifications for that, because when something negative is happening, when something horrific is happening to me, or I witness something horrible, or somebody betrays me or whatnot, any kind of core wound really, we are like there must be something wrong with me. Otherwise, why would anybody hate me so much? Why would this happen to me? Our brain has this desire to understand. And because it does not make sense, and because we internalize everything, and because as children we don't know that this person doing this horrendous, unspeakable act is actually them having shortcomings and drawbacks and issues. But we witnessing it or experiencing it through them think it must be something wrong with me. No, it's them. But we don't know this. And then we grow up and we are adults and we have this desire to be understood. And we have this desire for compassion. We have this desire to explain things and justify things. We want to be a part of something big. We don't want to just stay here alone and fight off the rest of the world, even though it can be quite empowering. Well, we don't want that. It's very stressful. We want to have the safety of our community. And this is why we constantly try to explain ourselves, over-explain ourselves, over-justify ourselves and the negative stuff to others. And when then somebody comes in who is on a high vibe, in a good state, who is in alignment with themselves, essentially, and says, brother, there is a solution. Like, what are you bitching about your problem? This is the solution. It triggers the living hell out of us because we want to be right, we want to be justified. We think that us suffering is so big and vast and important, it needs to hold value. And if you now tell me that this is invaluable, unvaluable, it's bullshit, essentially. Grammar doesn't work with me, but that's okay. There is no value in suffering, but it feels so strongly within me. You tell me that this thing is not a big deal, but it feels like a big deal. It's hard to accept that. And that's why we fight. And you are very adorable. I love you. Show me your face. Mwah! Tiny head. So this is why we hold on to these things. We want to be right. We want to be understood. But when we work on understanding all of this, logically understanding it, when we work on being the sky and become more and more and more emotionally independent, when we do all of this, we realize that we don't need this. We don't need it. It's nice. We don't need it. We don't actually need the money to feel safe. We don't actually need the partner to feel loved. We don't actually need the outside things to feel good about ourselves. We don't actually need the validation. I could give less of a shit about validation. I like myself. But when I'm out of alignment with myself, I need the validation, I need the gratification, I need the stuff from the outside. So it's cool that it exists. And this is why I tell you, you can use the outside things selectively, on purpose, to use them as an excuse to be in alignment. I don't need my cats to feel yee, but it's very easy for me to look at my cats and feel yee. So I use them, right? Okay.